Hello guys, and today we have a review of the Renault Talisman. This is like a French Camry, so to speak, so it's very interesting. Just look at those C-shaped daytime running lights, LEDs there on the front. So let's have a closer look around. So this face on the Renault is basically the new signature Renault look, and in fact you find the same sort of DRL treatment on the new Koleos as you do on this. But it gives it quite a handsome look, and it also gives it quite a bit of presence. There's a little bit of a sort of claw-like feel there at the front, but certainly very distinctive, and the Renault brand sits big and proud there on the front of the grille. This one has the smart 18-inch alloys. Of course, this is the top-of-the-range car. That's usually the car that they send out for the press. They give you the full-spec version, but we'll go through all of that in the middle. Nice little detail there on the side with the sort of air vent, mimic air vent thing. The wing mirrors are in because this has auto locking, and it has walk-away locking. So the moment that I park the car and get out and walk away, it just locks itself. So you don't have to lock it. It just decides that you've gone and it locks itself. But quite an elegant profile, and quite interesting at the back as well. Although more typically Renault at the back. I mean, that looks quite familiar to me with the way those rear lights are done and the way that the badge is done. So how about boot space? Well, let's have a look. That's a very interesting way of getting into the boot. I should just be able to just wave my foot underneath, and there it goes. It opens up, you see. And as you can see, it's a very, very deep and spacious boot. Quite practical. Not a lot in here. I think there's a power supply there, but that's about it. Under the floor, there's of course the spare tire is just there, and a couple of boxes there to keep things in, and of course the tool kit. But that's pretty much it. There's a ski hatch, but not folding rear seats. Right, let's get into the back of the car, and I've had to leave the car running. Normally I switch it off when I get into the back seats, but this seat goes back. When I turn it off and walk out, this seat actually goes back, so it robs a little bit of rear space. So in order to show you the actual space with this seat set for me, I had to leave the car running, and it's not too bad with it's set for my height. Although, you know, my shins here are just about rubbing the pockets there, so it's a little bit on the tight side. I would have maybe wanted a little bit more room, but then again, I am on the tall side, so I think for a lot of ordinary sized people it should be absolutely fine. What else do you get here? You get a couple of vents, and you get a power supply down here, but no USBs, so it would be nice to have one or two USBs back here. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. You get an armrest, of course, with a couple of cup holders, and of course that ski hatch, you know, to put long things in. If you buy something like that from IKEA, for example, you could put it in there. Adjustable headrest, and of course Isofix child seats. Renault big on safety. Renault always scores so highly in the Euro NCAP and those sort of tests. So yeah, but otherwise not too bad. And of course a full panoramic sunroof on this top of the range version. Time to get in the front, I think. Here we go. Now, as I said, the car is already running. One of the things I wanted to show you actually is this massive screen here. Now I'm going to talk through all the different spec and the price of the car, because I'm sure you're keen to know what this car, because it's great value for money actually in many ways, so I'm sure you're keen to know that. But one of the things I want to show you, I've had to set the AC quite low, because if I put it on automatic, can you hear that? I've got a shout now. The fans are really loud in this car. It's very bizarre. So it comes with a 13, this top of the range one, and it doesn't come as standard, but as an option, it comes with a 13 speaker Bose surround sound stereo system. And I think you need all 13 of those speakers to make up for this. So I'm just going to go back and just put that fan speed down, as you can do from there, not a problem. Full capacitive touchscreen thing there. You have, now the big thing about this car, this Renault Talisman, is this feature down here. So there's a number of ways you can use this touchscreen actually. You can actually touch it. You've got buttons down the side over here. There's buttons over here for AC and stuff. Or you've got this controller here as well. So you've got the home button and the menu button and everything like that. And then you have this button here. Now this button is multi-sense. And multi-sense is basically like multiple modes. And what do those modes do? Well, you know, like you'd have modes in other cars like sport, eco, driving, whatever, normal, you know, that sort of thing. It's got all of those, but it affects more things. So if I hit that, and you see there's all the modes that it's got, whatever that is, then it's got comfort, and it's got sport, eco, neutral. One of the things you'll notice, so if I put it into neutral, you'll see that this that's already on neutral. Let me put it into eco, goes green. Let me put it into sport, goes red, of course. What else? And you get this nice little graphic there as well. And then let me put it into comfort, and it goes blue. And another interesting thing happens when it goes blue. Again, this is a top of the range car. My seat suddenly starts to massage me. Look at that. Ooh. First time I did that, I was like, "Whoa, what's going on? What's going on here? Who's pushing me from behind? There's nobody there." But no, it suddenly the automatic massage starts up when you put it into comfort mode, and automatically starts massaging you. I'm not sure how I feel about that really. I was hoping to make my own decision about whether or not I need a massage. So we've got a heads-up display, just to run through a bit more detail on the car. We've got a load of buttons on the steering wheel, as usual. Very typical little pod here, if you can make out. I think Renaults have had these for ages, you know. So this little pod here that controls the stereo system. A couple of blanked out things there. AC vents, little door pocket there. A nice piano black finish. This is it's a sort of a vertical thing. It reminds me very Volvo with this kind of I think it's I'll go back to the details of how big that screen is, but quite nice. Nice finish here, sort of fake woodish. I don't know, maybe that's real, maybe it's real. It's piano black sort of thing. And then the leather stitching, glove box there, quite a deep and large glove box. Soft touch finish at the top, and of course these nice perforated leather seats, again top of the range version, so it has that. And what else have you got? You got, of course, a cubby box here. Now here's interesting. This is a tray, fine, and you've got a deep cubby box, fine, there. Then you've got this thing. I don't know if you can see that. So if you push that, that opens up. And I can't show you, but inside you basically you can pour a bottle, like one bottle you can pour, or a can, and it actually cools. So there's it's a refrigeration for one bottle or can that you can put. There's no way I think you'll be able to make that out all the way down there, and it will keep it cool for you. So that's quite handy. So over here you've got the electronic brake. For some reason the cruise control buttons are down here, which is very unusual because normally you expect to find them up here or on a stalk or something, but they're down here in this car. But it is fine, you know, and they like to do things differently, because if you don't like it, well, it's too bad. And this is the rotary knob, which basically can control that. So if I hit home, you get the home screen, which is just a giant clock. That's the only time you get a clock, because you don't get a clock on here. Not that I can, but it might be configurable, and I haven't been able to find it yet. Down here you just get the trip meter, and you can scroll through that. It does give you tire pressures as well. Well, it was giving me tire pressures before. They were definitely there. And of course, you know, average and stuff like that. It goes through all of that. 11.6 liters per 100, about average as you would expect on this car. So what else have you got down here? You got these cup holders, of course, 2 cup holders there. This is very odd, this EDC gearbox, that I don't know if you can quite make it out, maybe you can from that camera, but normally these things are either straight or slanted this way towards the driver. This one actually slants down, so this whole thing slants down that way, where the park thing is, that's sort of almost hidden over there. Not that it's a problem, because you can see the controls up there if you move it, you see, so it's not really an issue. So for example, if you have a phone, let's pretend that's a phone, and you put it there. Now normally when you do that in a car, it's normally straight or pointed this way, and then when you go around the corner it flies out. This is quite handy, because that way it just keeps it there, so actually that's quite useful. What else have we got here? That's quite good. We've got power supply, 2 USBs, SD card and an aux. And then there's another compartment here, which again could be quite useful place for keeping your phone down there. Okay. So the MultiSense has it affects the dashboard display, as you've seen, the lighting inside the cabin, the ambient lighting, if you like, the massage seats, of course, the electrically controlled multi-variable damping, so that's a suspension setup, so it does actually affect the ride and handling quality of the car, and I'll talk a bit more about that on the move. It's 5, of course, obviously got the 5 modes. The gearbox, the acceleration response, so in sports you get a more sporty acceleration, of course. The steering assistant, so it firms up, it gets heavier if you put in the sporty mode, and the engine noise as well. And again, the engine noise, I've noticed, it does get a bit more gruffer. It's very quiet normally, but it gets more gruffer. Now, which engine it's got, I'll come to that as well in a minute. So let me get rid of that, and let me go through the model range, because this is quite interesting, because you'll like this. It starts, this car, as you've seen, a nice reasonable saloon car, starts with a 2-liter PE trim version at 67,900 dirhams, which is $18,500. That's all it costs to get into it. But for that, you don't get this engine, you get a 2-liter engine. Aha, you think that might be a bit odd because when you realize that this engine I'm sitting in, the top of range car, is a 1.6. Interestingly, they don't call it 1.6, but I'll come back to that. 2-liter 4-cylinder, this not this one, but the cheap base model car, 140 brake horsepower, 142 pounds-foot of torque, a 7-speed CVT gearbox. CVT gearbox, 0 to 100 in 12.3 seconds, and a top speed of 180 kilometers per hour. That's pretty much all you get. So let's move on from that one. That's your base spec car. You don't want that one. You'll spend a little bit more. You'll spend maybe 76,900 for the SE version of that same engine. And then you get in the SE one, you do get this larger screen because you don't get this screen, you get a slightly larger screen because in the base model you just get a little screen, nothing at all. But you do get the system, so you get this interactivity and this interface. You do get it. You get an 8-speaker sound system, and you get sat nav. You also get alloy wheels, 17-inch alloy wheels. However, you can also get the SE model with, wait for it, the Energy TCE 190 engine. That's what this is called, the Energy TCE 190 engine. But it is, like I said, a 1.6 4-cylinder engine, 190 brake horsepower. So that's quite a bit more than previously, 50 horsepower more than the base model. 192 pounds-foot of torque from 2,500 RPM. 7-speed dual clutch automatic, so that's good. No paddles on this though, oddly. But anyway, it's a dual clutch. There is a manual mode on the gearbox here, and 0 to 100 in 7.7 seconds. That's not bad for a saloon car this size. And so forget about the 1.6. Just like concentrate on that. 225 kilometers per hour. For that car, so did I mention that the 2-liter SE is 76,900 dirhams, which is $21,000, but the same spec with this engine, the TCE 190, is 82,900 dirhams, which is $22,500 or thereabouts. This car I'm sitting in is the LE with the Bose stereo option, and it is 102,900 dirhams, which is about $28,000. And you get a load of stuff on this car, as you've seen. Of course, you get the bigger 8.7-inch capacitive touchscreen. It comes with an 8-speaker system as standard, but of course this one's got the 13-speaker Bose system. It's got the 18-inch wheels, as you've seen. It's got the alpha beige perforated leather upholstery. It's got the panoramic sunroof. It's got 6-way power adjustable driver's seat with memory settings. It's got the hands-free entry and exit, and you walk up to the car, it unlocks for you. You walk away from the car, it just locks automatically for you. It's got the park assist, so it does that self-parking thing. It's got rear view camera, and it's got blind spot and all of that stuff. So that's a lot of kit on this car, and it has a lot of good value. It's practical, it's comfortable, it's spacious, and a lot of toys. Now the main question is, what is it like to drive? Let's go for a run. Okay, so let's put it into comfort mode. So we'll just try 2 modes for the purpose of this exercise. We'll try comfort and sport, because those obviously are usually the most extreme in terms of differences. So automatic handbrake, you just have to give it a little bit of a push on the accelerator to get over the handbrake. Tick, 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 tick. Oh, it's a very French. The way they do the indicators, they meant to make sure that you can see that it is an indicator and that you can move with the indicator. So that is why it goes tick, 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 unlike others. So it's very, very pronounced and very obvious, that thing. Good ride, very comfortable, very smooth. The levels of refinement in this car are quite high, as you'd expect for a European car. It does have a kind of a French feel about it in terms of the build quality, and I guess you'll understand what I'm saying there. But generally, it's quite good. No real complaints otherwise. There you can see, quite quiet, refined. Accelerates decent enough. Steering is very, very light. Ride is good. No real issues. Good all-round visibility. Good wing mirrors at the sides to help you. The seat is massaging me right now, which I always found a bit odd before as well, when the seat suddenly started doing it. So let's come up to a roundabout, and yeah, I mean, you know, the Renault have always known how to set up a car. They've always known how to set up the handling, particularly on a front-wheel drive car. And this is no exception to that rule. It's very, very competent. Now let's go into sports mode. Now, and immediately you saw the revs went up. The engine note got gruffer. The steering is weighted up a little bit now. The ride has got a bit firmer. Definitely, I felt that speed bump much more than I felt the previous one. You can hear that engine note a little bit now. And we're coming up to a roundabout here. But yeah, more aggressive. And actually, it's quite a nice note. It's a peppy little 4-cylinder. And it has quite a sporty, rorty sort of feel to it. A bit of traffic here, but you can feel that the steering response is better. It's just slightly more meatier. But yeah, more punchy acceleration. And you get that sound and you get that response. So again, there is quite a personality change there, in addition to all the lights and the change on the instrument panel and all the rest of it. But and it has 5 of these step modes that you can go through. And again, once you own the car, you can probably set it up and see how, woohoo, blimey, I'll put it back into comfort, I think. But I like the note of the engine. Maybe you can configure it to get that and have a better ride, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, quite nice in the sense that you can tailor this car to how you want it. And there is, I mean, it's not a vast, but it doesn't turn into a sports car, I wouldn't say. But there is a little bit of personality change there, just to give you a look at that. It's just to give you that little effect of a car that's trying to entertain you and keep you satisfied in ways that only a car can. Did that come out right? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So overall, what do I think of it? I think it's actually a really good value proposition. I think it's a very good alternative in that segment. It's a very fiercely, fought over segment. We've got a lot of cars in that segment, from Camry, Altima, Accord, the fantastic new Malibu, and of course the Koreans, the Sonata, and then you've got this. So there's a lot to choose from in that segment. So really take your pick. Go out there, test the cars, take them for a drive. Just sit in them, put your family in them, see what you feel like, see what the spec is, compare them on the pricing and what you get for that money, and then decide which car to go for. But they're all pretty good, and this is yet another new entry into that level. And I think it brings a little, a certain, X factor. Is a little bit different, je ne sais quoi, it has a little bit of the personality, Sorry about that. Terrible impersonations there. Or the useless accents. Sorry. But it definitely has something that sets it apart. And I like that engine though, it's quite good. And definitely worth putting on the shopping list and checking out. So there you go, that's our review of the Renault Talisman. Hope you enjoyed that. Please do check us out. Just go to our website, motoringme.com, and you can also find us on all the social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Just search for Motoring Middle East and you'll find us. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please do like, share and subscribe. You can also find me on all the social media. Search for Shazad Sheikh, and it'd be great if you could follow me as well. Thanks so much for watching. Until the next one.